Songwriting is basically like a chase for me to finding out like what's out there, because if say even an idea has even those two notes that make all the difference, those two notes will be the driving factor to create an entire song. Hey, this is Levis. I'm a musician from India, and this is Behind the Stage. If I have to like really classify, I do listen to a lot of hip hop. For me, a pivotal album was the Jay-Z and Linkin Park Collision Course album. Yeah, that's where things like really like began for me. And I was like, okay, I just try and live up to what music made me feel like. The emotions I felt, I want to now give. I think the most exciting part about songwriting is different ways I feel like I'm myself again. I will only focus on the fact that if it doesn't translate the feeling, it's not worthy of a song. It's like if your watch can do all the things in the world, it can take calls, do this and that, but if it can't tell you the time, then I feel like the purpose of the watch is no longer in place, right? So that's how I feel about music. The way I look at my music is that if I had to like really sum it up in one word, it's bittersweet, right? So if I had to break this down, I think if you just listen to my vocal melody versus my instrumental, I feel like the vocal suggests a very sad feeling. If I had to sing like Liggy's vocals, right? I don't know, when I just listen to that, and maybe one can also tell, it's very sad. The vocal melody is very sad, but then when you slap my instrumental on it, it's almost celebratory in its nature, but it is like with the hint of sad. So that's why bittersweet. I was extremely emotional. It was like 3 a.m. I couldn't sleep, and I was so restless. And I know that restlessness is the main melody of Sage, right? I've seen an emotion become a melody. Like the minute I have written that melody, I have lost anxiety. I have gotten less anxious. I faced closure. Like I got closure of sorts, right? And that's what I think music has done for me also. It's like fixed me in a lot of ways and like therapized me in a lot of ways, you know, and yeah. Back in 2016, I actually played a Levi's 501 gig, and this was a big one for me because I think I probably saw a big audience, which is not mine, but I was put in front of one. It was extremely interesting to watch my music translate the way it did that day, because till then I was obviously still like hoping that people would care, you know. Putting together my own show would be a big one, right? We did Youth Fest in right before the pandemic, the year before pandemic, and I remember like the whole idea of like, say my music is a world that you're walking into, put in front of you as a festival, and that was Youth Fest. Collaborations for me, I mean, how much ever I've done so far has been extremely educational, right? Because I'm not only just learning about obviously the other sound that I'm working with, but in that process, again, I'm learning about my sound. Up and coming musicians, people who are starting out, should explore themselves first. What is your identity? Once you do, then you need to find like-minded people that don't make it seem like you're collaborating. You know what I mean? Like I think every time I've met Udin in the last like five years of knowing him, every time we've met over like dinner or whatever, we end up writing a song. We don't go in thinking, okay, cool, we should write an album together. But here we are. We all climb our own mountains, right? So even if I spent 10 years, 20 years in the music business, I actually can't comment on a journey, however big or small it is, because that's that person's journey. So my advice would truly be to like only start trusting yourself more. And I know it's easy to say it, but like you have to give it the time. Make mistakes. Make all the mistakes. In fact, the more mistakes you make, the better, because the perspective only gets wider, right?